What's up, my amazing viewers? You're all awesome. And this is the Papa Bear Podcast, the Papa Bear Podcast, if you're telling your friends about it. We are so happy to have you listening. And guess what, guys? We are finally on Spotify. And Apple Podcast. Apple Podcast. If you just got to listen to me shouting in your ear without having to see me do it, thank my amazing producer for getting us on Apple Podcast and Spotify, because you are listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It's awesome.
Much easier to upload.
So much easier. Listen, guys. So much better. It's so much better. So we are super excited about that. Continue to watch us on YouTube. You guys are amazing for that as well. If you guys want to see like how this whole thing works, you want to see our funny shenanigans and how much I use my hands to talk during any episode, continue to watch us on YouTube. But also, you now have the option to listen to us in your car as you go to work, as you go to school, as you go to Walmart, as you go to Winn-Dixie, as you're driving. You can walk wherever you want. But as you're driving to any of those places, you now have the option to be listening to the Papa Bear Podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We are so excited about that. I am just particularly stoked because people can actually like listen in. They don't have to see my face, which, let's just be honest, it's pretty great for anybody. That's okay. Listen, if anybody wants to hire me as a radio talk show host, I'm all about it. If you want to hire me as a TV personality, we need to talk. I expect makeovers. Maybe if people like trim my beard. I don't know. We can talk about it in my contract. So last episode we had Miss Lauren Hill on the show for you, and it was a really great episode. I really appreciate the love, all of the love. We've got a few streams on Spotify already, which is fantastic. That just does my heart joy. We found out that 60% of our listening audience on Spotify is female. So, ladies, and here's to you, all the single ladies. I didn't just do that. If you're on Spotify, you have no idea what I just did. I bet you can guess because you're females and very intelligent. If you're on YouTube, you just saw what I did, and that's why I should never, ever be a TV personality. Wow. But yeah, so we're actually going to be talking a little bit tonight about you ladies. It's going to be pretty great. And my wife is telling me I should remove my foot from my mouth. Already. We haven't even started. YOLO. Yeet, as the kids say. So yeah, last episode we had Lauren on the show for you guys. It was fantastic to hear about her life and hear about how she's pushing and moving towards missions and a call on her life to missions. If you want to see that information and how you can help her out, again, that is in the last episode's information. A lot of really good stuff that's going on there and a lot of good things that are trying to be moved and pushed for the gospel and the kingdom. But now we're on to this episode. And we have something very, very, very important to tell you. I told you last week that I had a celebrity, or maybe it was in one of my Instagram stories, that we had a celebrity for you here today. And I wasn't lying. The celebrity we have for you today is Bond. James Bond. Well, maybe not really, but I'm pretty sure he actually is. He just won't tell me. But would James Bond actually tell somebody if he was James Bond? No, absolutely not. He's James Bond in the guise of a man, the myth, the legend. If you know him, you love him. Lindon Cummings. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We'll need some claps for that. Lots of claps. All the rounds of applause. Oh, yeah, we can do that. Lindon Cummings. Oh, my goodness. Can we just... My baby got some nasty farts going on. Holy cow. That is redonkulous.
She just crop dusted you, dog. She walked over there, she farted, and she failed.
We'll learn from
No,
that.
but poop.
Oh, there's poop. Guys, we have poop. Welcome to the Papa Bear Podcast. We are a family-friendly show. Feel free to let your kids poop while you listen.
First
I don't know. That's real parenting, guys. If you don't want your kid pooping while you're listening to a podcast, don't become a parent. That's what happens. God, that is rank. We're starting on solid food. She's a year old. I'm sure you remember being a year old starting on solid foods.
No.
No?
No.
What a wonderful time. Think about that. Your first experience with Chicky Nuggies, as Baby Yoda would call them. We're now endorsed by Baby Yoda. No? Not yet?
I haven't gotten the call yet.
Come on, Lucasfilm.
Doing my best.
So, yeah. But think about that. If you could remember your first experience of eating solid foods, what do you think your favorite solid food would have been at the time?
Probably mac and cheese.
Oh.
I mean, people, they make them in all different kinds of ways. So they make them, in, little bunches, or they bake it so it's in, square form.
Ooh,
but I feel like, as a baby, you can just, take a little chunk off, or even just a piece of macaroni and feed it to them. And they would love it. The texture, the flavor.
Cheese has a lot of flavor. I'm lactose
does.
intolerant, but honestly, there is some mac and cheese out there that I'd fall on my sword, so to speak. Go to town on some mac and cheese. Okay, so, Lindon, would you mind telling me something?
Sure, what's up?
Who are you?
Who am I?
Who are you?
Wow, who am I?
We'll get to the James Bond part.
Okay.
But before we get to there, I want to see what your alter ego is and how well you've got this thing wrapped up before we start talking about James Bond.
I am basically just a young man trying to find his way in the world.
Oh my gosh, bro, is that your Instagram bio?
No, but I feel like it should be.
It should. I mean, I was like, where's your phone? Did you just? It sounds like you read that off your Instagram, and that's no disrespect. That's just, holy cow! I am not prepared for this interview. He's coming up with answers like this.
But just, you never will be. So.
He's James Bond. All right, so you are just a young man trying to find your way in the world.
That's right.
I can't believe I remember that too. Doing pretty good. That's a really good answer. So what would you say you're currently? What is one of the current things that you're trying to find your way through?
Basically photography.
Oh.
It's funny because not to toot my own horn, but
toot it, bro.
People usually say I'm great, but the thing they don't realize is that I'm constantly learning. You know.
Isn't that what you do with any craft?
Yeah, pretty much.
Throw out your handle really quick. What's your photography page?
Yoshilune. That's YOSHILUNE. That's my main Instagram account. My second one
It's not in there. Yeah. So just keep the first one.
Can I interject? I have to ask you something.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm sorry.
No, interject.
This cannot wait. Why is your Instagram called that?
Yoshilune?
Yeah. Oh yeah. What's the story behind Yoshilune?
Okay, so basically, I was sitting down on my bed, and I was trying to find a new Instagram name because the one I had before I couldn't even remember, and basically I'm sitting there and I'm trying all these names, but they're just not taking it because Instagram is so popular.
There's so many
you
names.
put one word in there and you think no one else on earth has it, and then it's oh, we're sorry, that's taken too. So I just got so mad and I was like, you know what? I'm going to just think of something super random. And Yoshi is something that has always stuck with me because I remember on GameCube, they used to have that game.
Super Smash Bros.
Yes. And man, I don't know. It just always stuck with me. So anything that I came up with, it would just have to have Yoshi in it. But then I thought of Lunar because when it comes to light and stuff, I'm a natural light photographer. So, Lunar. I just thought of Lunar. And Yoshilune.
The name's like an onion, dude.
Okay.
So many layers.
You just took every middle school boy's favorite game from back in the day, Super Smash Bros. You took a green lizard and you matched it with natural light coming from God's creation of the moon. And you said, I bet that'll make a great photography page.
Hey. You never know.
Bro, I'm not ready. I ain't ready. I want to say that I'm ready, that I am emotionally prepared for this interview. I'm not. And we're in the intro.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to do this, Connor? He shrugged.
We'll have to tag in and out, dude.
Yeah, we'll take cry breaks. Just emotionally convicting cry breaks. All right, so I'm convinced you're James Bond. I'm here to test it and to prove to everybody else that you're James Bond. Are you ready? Everybody hears the baby crying in the background. Welcome to the Papa Bear Podcast. Are you ready?
I feel like I am.
What was James Bond's favorite gun?
The Walther PPK.
Dang, British accent! I apologize. I should not scream into this microphone because I don't know how this is going to come out. We're just going to have to cut the entire episode. British accent. What car do you love?
Ooh, that would be the Aston Martin DBS. Or DB. I think it was the Aston Martin DB.
What's your favorite car?
DB10.
DB10?
Yep, it was a DB10.
What's your favorite gun?
My favorite gun?
Favorite gun?
That would have to be the Walther PPK. There's a lot of weight to it. They like to say that it's good for concealed carry, but I feel like it's just too heavy. So.
What's your favorite car?
The Aston Martin.
I'm not saying that he's James Bond, but I have never seen him and James Bond in the same room. It's not coincidence. Jeez. So you're James Bond. If you're not, sorry. Sorry to the real James Bond, you're a fake. And that would bring us into the dad joke segment. Da, da, da. That was a great slide in last week, by the way. I love you. I saw that, and I just... Bro, it made me love you even more.
Editor, producer.
Oh my gosh. Bro. Shayla loves you, and she hopes that you're having a good recording session.
Aww.
Bro, listen, if she doesn't watch this, then I'm about to make her feel bad. So here is why, Shayla, I'm going to talk to you directly for a second. And if you're, not you, Shayla.
Yeah.
And Shayla, if you're listening, not right now, but when you listen when this is out, I want you to know something about your mans. That I love him. And that your man's is so hardworking, and that your man's is dedicated, and that your man's... Have y'all said love? Do you guys love it?
Dude, we're dating for 5 years.
Your man's loves you, and I don't know. Like, I don't want to put you in that awkward, like, have you proposed to her yet? Like, have you popped the question yet? I know we were talking. No, I'm just kidding.
She knows that.
But, like... Your man's is amazing, and I know you know that, but I just want to let you know that I know that you know that he knows that I know that you know. Know it. And keep listening to the Papa Bear Podcast. We love you. So that brings us into... No, it wasn't all for a plug. You know that. But yeah, so that brings us into Dad Joke segment. Shayla, we love you. And keep texting him. Like, I hope you text him every segment that we do. Every Monday. Text him as much as you want, whatever you want, because I will read it out loud. Every bit of it. And that is not... That's a promise. Every bit of it. And I hope... I've never met you. I hope as... I feel like we can call each other friends.
Yeah, she's very friendly.
I hope as a friend you will take me up on that and text me whatever you want.
Yeah.
Text him, and he'll come through the computer.
She loves people.
Well, I love you, Shayla.
Yep, she loves you too.
And it's amazing. We all love each other. This is great. Dad joke segment. Lyndon, are you ready for dad joke segment?
I think so.
All right. I need you to look me in the eyes. Are you ready
Yes, I am.
for dad joke segment?
Totally.
I picked this joke out specifically for you.
Dude, this is intense.
It is. Are you ready?
I am.
Every dad joke is intense. That was it's just in the background. Focus up. What is a secret agent that is no longer secret?
A secret agent that is no longer secret?
That is no longer secret.
What is it?
An agent.
What is that?
Is this dad joke segment? You're going to get your own dad joke segment. Well, I have another way that can go. Okay, do you want to try both ways? Let's try both ways. Okay, lock it back in.
Right.
What do you call a secret agent that's no longer secret?
Normal person.
What?
Dead. All right, so that's both sides of the joke. I don't know which one. You can use either one. You can use both, honestly. They're both pretty great. So let's jump right into the main stage here. Tonight, I've got my man Lindon on here for a very specific reason. See, I texted Lindon and I'm like, okay, listen, man, I could talk to you about a lot. Because you are a very, okay, first off, tell everyone your age.
24.
24. If you've ever talked to this man, in person, face to face, mano a mano, you don't think he's like 36. Just by the way he talks. And I mean, that is at no point a disrespect or anything. I mean, that sounds like a complete compliment to me. Exactly. She understands. But you are only 24. I say only. I mean, you get up there. Almost a quarter.
Sort of.
No, just kidding. Really don't. I say that. We're only when's your birthday?
January 25th.
Oh, so you just turned 24. So yeah, we're 4 years apart. It's not hard. I feel old. Of course, Connor over here, 20?
Yeah.
Really?
Thank you!
That's crazy.
The man looks like, what, 25?
Oh, well, I was going to say younger.
Oh,
Really?
Really? No.
Oh, wow.
I turned 21 in February.
A...
Period.
And, on the next episode, getting litty.
We're going to talk about the prohibition.
Yeah.
That's your joke.
So anyway, I brought you on and I was like, hey man, I know I could talk to you about anything. And we actually had a completely different topic until, what, yesterday?
Yeah.
Till yesterday. And it was yesterday, evening.
Yeah.
And that tells you, I mean, we could literally talk about a million different things. So until yesterday, we were going to talk about culture and art and the passions of different people. And because my man Lindon, legit, go check out his Instagram pages because it is amazing what this man does with the camera. I'm not kidding. He also plays piano. He also I wouldn't be surprised if he paints, if he plays the Spanish guitar, if he knows how to romantically write sonnets. I don't know.
Sometimes.
Do you?
Poetry, yes.
Yo, tap it. No.
Project.
All right. Yeah. Bro. But we changed it because I started thinking, I was like, one topic that I really enjoy talking, you and I, one of the ways that we bonded was that we got trapped in a car together for it was for what, 6 hours total?
Yeah.
Plus the shooting. He came with me to a music video that I was in. I was in a music video. And I think there was 60,000 views or streams on Spotify right now, actually, for that song. So I don't know what the YouTube's up to, but that's pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. That sounds pretty cool.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so he was here, and he was there for the music video. He was doing behind-the-scenes shots, which look amazing, again. And we were trapped in a car for 6 hours total, getting to this location, getting back. And so we started talking about, the culture around females. and specifically how we as guys in a culture treat females, how the culture treats females, and it's one of those things that I feel like, and especially with this being the Papa Bear podcast, like one of the things that we really want to do is we want to talk to you about, hey, if you're looking forward to the idea of raising kids, then we want to talk about culture. And I am currently now raising a daughter, which is terrifying. I just want to let anybody know, if you're looking to raise a daughter, it's terrifying. It's absolutely petrifying. She's like not even a year old yet. But so we want to talk about this. Let's talk about this culture, specifically culture and how females are affected in that from the perspective of guys. We want to be very respectful about this. I don't want to start, I don't want to instantly kill my podcast because we said the wrong thing or because we were disrespectful, and I hope we are not in any kind of way whatsoever, and I hope nothing is misunderstood. If anything sounds bad, please call my producer.
Chime in.
Yeah, there you go. My wife is our censor, our female censor. So if we say anything that is just like, boy, you tripping, she gonna throw a shoe at me, a baby shoe.
Please don't miss. Because I'm like in the
She's like, right, there's a line here. We'll see. I'm going to be the one that says something. Lindon is not. I'm just going to say it right now. But there's progressively, if you can see my living room right now, it looks like we have a baby, because we do. There's baby shoes, and then there's one pair of adult sandals. So what's going to happen is she will work her way from the baby shoes to the adult flip-flops. And then the show's over. Depending on the severity. So I need to watch myself. Lyndon's fine. He's okay. Just duck. She knows, too, because she's not correcting me on that either. Okay. So let's start here. Where do you feel the current culture and what that climate is around, like, females and the interaction as far as, like, guys and females are?
I feel like that really depends on location and like where you are in the world, because culture as it is, really affects that and how like women are treated and vice versa.
Sure.
But I think as far as where we are, I'd have to say that really comes from like music and stuff like that, the movies that we watch. We look up to actors, actresses, and singers, dancers, just all these performers, artists, and the way they depict certain, behaviors.
Sure.
We tend to take that in and then distribute that, sometimes subconsciously to the people around us.
Sure.
So I feel like that has...
We regurgitate whatever we ingest, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I can feel that. So, and I know, like, you function a lot down in, like, Miami.
Yes.
Right? That's, like, a big place for you.
Absolutely.
I could not believe when you told me that you drive there, like, every day. And I'm like, bro, you have a truck. I no longer feel bad about the idea of buying a truck for the gas because I'm like, I ain't driving to Miami every day, so I'll be all right. So, would you say, like, how would you say that, what is the biggest cultural shift? Excuse me. Wow, I just, like, almost choked. The biggest cultural shift between, like, our location where we're at and, like, somewhere like Miami, what would you say that looks like?
Well, the style for one thing is definitely different, and I feel like basically the way people dress here and the way people dress in Miami, it's different.
Sure.
The way people address each other, the way people talk to each other, that's really different. Then there's like social image.
Sure.
So there's like how we look at people who have certain things and who don't, whereas like here, it really depends on what you have. So
Sure.
like an example of that would be like everyone here, or at least almost everyone here, has a truck. Whereas almost everyone in Miami has like a really nice car.
Sure.
Something fairly new or extremely new.
Sure.
So I think, the major change there is basically just what people have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that kind of like bleeds through in culture. Like larger culture tends to fall into small culture.
Right.
You know? So like you were saying, how the society just kind of like, they find the cultural trends.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm trying to get my brain together here. They're getting those cultural trends. So like, you know, everybody here has trucks because we try to be country.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody country. Listen, unless you work on a ranch, you ain't country. Stop. I see so many trucks in high school parking lots. Stop it. Y'all going back and forth from wanting a Corvette and a truck. Anyway, but at the same time, I feel like that's still, even the big city influence is still huge on smaller towns,
definitely.
especially in like the younger culture, because we want the nice things, we want like to look expensive, and we want like, and so we kind of like, and I know as a young man, like at a certain point, I thought, like, this is how I get a girl. Like, I'm going to get myself a nice car. I'm going to be like a rock star because I was a drummer. So naturally, no girl wanted to date me. And I'm going to get like, if you're a drummer, I'm sorry. If you are a young drummer, single, pick up the guitar. Okay? Stop the drums. My wife is amazing. 1 in a million shot, and she did not marry me for my drums. But yeah, so you get this image as like this, as we tend to with this single idea when we start blending this into relationships. We're like, okay, so I need to have the nicest car. I need to have really, really good clothes. Shoes are now really, really big. All of these different things and all of these different items and aspects of how we need to be viewed.
Yeah.
And this is how we're going to get a relationship.
And that's a really, unfortunate thing, because it's such a common idea nowadays, that you have to have like those shoes, or you have to have that car. You have to show up to college wearing this, that, and the third, when really no one can afford that.
Yeah, really.
College students.
Just look gaudy. I mean, like, okay, you didn't pay off your tuition, but you're wearing, like...
Exactly.
Jeez.
Exactly.
Is that Gucci? I don't know brands. I know, like, Aeropostale. I own one Aeropostale thing.
I only know one.
And I'm proud of that one thing. Because I fit into Aeropostale things. Yes! She fits into all the Aeropostale things right now. Just wait till she's 2. She'll grow. It was an Aeropostale joke, not my baby's big joke. Okay, so let me try to. So let me gather this all together. We're going to try and bundle this up here.
Absolutely.
So as we talk about culture affecting relationships, affecting how we approach relationships, there is a definite lack. I feel like there has been a definite decline and a definite lack of how we as men, quote unquote, approach females or females. And I feel like we've kind of gotten from culture this idea that as long as we look showy, that as long as we have the right words, that as long as we approach them with the best line or with the best move, and some I feel like would say, oh no, that's like old, but it seems to me like that is the culture where we're at. So do you think that this idea has kind of taken a hold of young society, or even single society? We can just call it single society.
You know what? I definitely have to agree with that. Okay. I really do. I really don't want to sound like someone's grandpa here, but I mean, in these music videos, and we see how females are treated.
Sure.
By men, by other females.
Yeah.
And it's something that I look down upon most times, because there's this lack of respect, and now it's like everyone is saying this is okay, and it's not just the people who make these things, but it's the people who are buying it, and they're not in the wrong. Everyone should love the music that they choose to listen to. Everyone's entitled to basically listen to the music that they want to listen to.
Sure.
Watch the music videos that they want to watch. Everyone has different styles and opinions about basically the artistic aspect that's in those things.
Sure.
But again, there's always the matter of are certain people being respected. And we're no longer focusing on that because we're so interested in the shoes that are being worn, the message that is in the videos. It's not always positive, but yeah, I feel like that on top of many other things, we look at social media. That's the biggest culprit, because now we have Instagram models dressing this way and that, modeling Fashion Nova, and I mean sometimes I see the comments, from men, and it's like, wow, you guys would be ready to fight, someone if they were talking to your sister that way. So
you'd hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's now one of those things where there's definitely been a change, in the way men do treat women.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So let me play devil's advocate for a minute, and let's talk this out really quick. So, what if I were to just tell you, or just to say, well, it's culture. It is constantly evolving. I mean, everybody's like had this same view on society for decades. We've just evolved into where we're at as a society, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with the way, as long as it's consensual, then what's wrong with it? I think is the biggest argument.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to take time every now and then to remember that we're human beings. And we're gonna love what we're gonna love. We're gonna listen to what we want to listen to, and that's completely fine. But at the end of the day, we're all human, and that respect should still be there, because you never know who's watching you.
That's true.
The people you work with, a friend or an acquaintance, and the person you're talking about or referring to, or that can always come back around to you.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things now where we have to take a moment, even though with everything that's changing, and basically every
Sorry, my producer's waving to my child, and she is losing her mind. She's like, "Holy cow! He sees me! He sees me waving! It's awesome!" Sorry,
but with all the changes that are going on in society, it's just one of those things that we have to look at still.
Yeah.
Are we, can we still respect, women, people, just like us?
So how would you say, what is the biggest move that we need to make as far as just respecting someone? What does that look like?
Looking at a lot of things differently than, what they seem. You sometimes have to step out of your own circle. They always say, be watchful of the circle you're in. But I'm not talking about, people, but your own personal circle.
Mindset.
We have that. Exactly.
Yeah, sure.
And you have to jump out of that circle every now and then and, say, hey, I got to look at this from their perspective. I got to put myself in their shoes, because it's easy to look at someone and say, oh, wow, they're this or they're that.
Sure.
But, if you stood even next to them, you could see what was behind you that you couldn't see before.
Yeah.
Because now you're looking in the same direction that they are.
Yeah.
But we don't do that enough.
And I think it comes back to respect is tied together with love.
Absolutely.
And I mean, if we forget that we're talking to human beings, if we forget that we're talking to people, then we stop loving.
Absolutely.
And I hear it a lot, and I'm guilty. I've said it before, especially driving in traffic, that I hate people, but it is so important that we remember that we have to love, because love is tied to respect. And without that, then we just fall apart. I mean, we become so disassociated, we forget that the person who's standing in front of us at line, who's taking forever, that they're people too.
Absolutely.
That when they go home, they've got to deal with the same things or completely different things than we do. And it's scary to us because it's just so much easier, I think, to disassociate. Yeah, that's good. Man, this is good. So, you are currently dating.
Yes, I am.
He's off the market, lady. Sorry. Should have acted sooner. Just kidding. Yeah, exactly. Watch yourself. But yeah, you're currently dating.
I am.
Do you mind revealing her name?
Ayelis.
Ayelis.
Yeah. Oh, I made a mistake there. I should say the beautiful Ayelis.
Ayelis, if you're listening, just I don't know what to say to you. You won. My goodness. I don't know. I mean, you win? Is that how? I don't know what to say to you. You win. Oh, yeah.
Join us next week.
That's it. I'm done. So the beautiful Ayelis.
Yes.
And I apologize if I say her name wrong at any point. Just slap me for insulting your lady's honor. Honestly, now I'm thinking you're a knight. A mixture between James Bond and a knight. That would be boss. Like James Bond knight just pull out a saber from the back, like on his horse, on his Aston Martin horse.
Sounds like a movie.
Time traveling James Bond. So, how long have you guys been dating?
We have been dating for 2-3 weeks now.
2-3 weeks.
We made it official on the 8th.
Fantastic. What a great anniversary date for dating. I think that's the same date, not like month, but the same day as we started dating as well.
Ooh.
Right? It was August 8th. Boom!
Ooh, you see, that's just something you can't forget.
That's not.
Because
Listen.
What year though?
2013. We got married. We got married in 14. Oh, 13. Sorry, 13. 13.
12.
Wasn't 12.
We got engaged in 13, got married in 14.
Never mind, it was 12.
that slipper's really close to
Listen, but I'm telling you, day and month. Day and month. I got it.
Passwords on things.
That's true. Day and month. I got the day and the month. Listen, I have used it one time, and I was sick and sleep deprived, but I have my wedding date tattooed on my chest. And I have used it one time to remember because I was sick and sleep deprived.
Yeah, 12. 12.
Do you have?
I'm just kidding.
What do you have? But yeah, so you're currently dating
Yes.
the beautiful Ayelis. She's awesome.
She is.
We hope that we would have got to meet her today, but she is back home where she lives. We're not going to say where she lives, just for her own confidentiality. That's fine. Do you? I know the answer to this question. Like freaking hey, it's in the name that you gave us. Do you encourage her?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know why I asked that question anymore.
Absolutely.
That's stupid.
The thing about that is, and she knows this, even if I don't agree with it, you know, whatever it is.
Sure.
Clothing choice. I mean, she dresses really, really well.
Sure.
You know, but it, you know me. I'm James Bond on weekends, so I have my ways. But
It's James Bond without all the ladies, by the way. I just want to point that out. I feel like I need to clarify that James Bond without all the ridiculous fornicating.
If
Now I sound like a grandpa. I sound fornicating. Sex, kids. Need sex.
There goes Dylan from the show.
They're gonna learn.
We're not getting monetized.
There goes Joy FM. We just mentioned sex in marriage.
if she, hi.
Did you order a baby? Because there's a baby.
I didn't, but you know what? It's totally fine.
Come back.
Hi.
She's cute. She's cute.
Even if, you know, in whatever it is that she does, even if I'm like not all the way for it, I'm still gonna encourage her because, you know, who am I to suppress her, you know, creative growth, her, you know, her stylish self. I mean, she's great the way she is.
Mm-hmm.
And I trust her mindset, you know, I trust everything that she stands for. So if she makes a choice, you know, I'm definitely going to encourage her to go for it. And of course she does more than that for me. You know, she encourages me every moment. You know, I'm pretty sure.
She's all about it.
Yep.
She's like, Dad.
I'm pretty sure, like, when we're finished here, there's gonna be like a whole bunch of messages from her, like, hey, you know, how you doing? How did this go or that go? I'm always working on something little, and she'll remember it. You know, she'll remember it. She'll just be like, hey, how's this going? How's that going? Did you ever finish writing that? Did you know?
Oh, encouraging you as well.
Yeah, and that's why, you know, I'll never be able to encourage her as much as she has encouraged me and inspired me. You know, it's such an important thing, really.
Oh my gosh, I want to be at your wedding.
Oh, you will.
Yeet. What's the kid say? My baby's venturing. But yeah, listen. For those of you who didn't hear that, that was beautiful. Freaking beautiful. And my producer is holding my baby. That's so cute. That was beautiful. That's cute. We need a picture of that for the gram. And send that to Shayla. So while they're taking that picture, if you are a young or just a single gentleman who has not figured out how to be a gentleman yet, listen to this man. Okay? I say that like halfway joking, but also like in full seriousness. Like, Lindon, that was absolutely sage wisdom. I mean, I've been married for 5 going on 6 years now, and I remembered that. Got married on 4. It was a great idea. Even numbers, I'm great about. Odd numbers now. That was sage wisdom. Married going on 6 years now. I can tell you that encouraging is probably one of the most important things. Whether you are encouraging dreams, hopes, aspirations, just daily life choices. I mean, the person that you have selected and that you've said, okay, I'm gonna be with you. I'm going to be that person. And when you step into something like marriage as well, that's like that next step. I mean, dating is huge, you know, and I think we tend to look at dating so cavalier too. Like, I respect your dating story, and I feel like we're gonna record a mini-sode after this just to talk about that for a second, like, because I want to, because Absolutely. It's huge. But if we were to look at marriage and relationships as what he just said, as encouragement and respect mutually, because not only guys, we drop the ball on this so much, but we can also like respond back in a female sense as well and say that a lot of the times in culture females get this mindset of, oh, well, the guy has to be the one lifting me up and that's it, and we drop the ball. Listen, I am so immensely blessed with my wife because not only does she, like, we follow this structure in my house where I am placed at the head of the household, and I don't say that in a bragging way, like, hear me when I say that. That is just the structure of the house that we follow. I mean, I'm the head of the household. My wife is standing closely beside me and behind me in this supporting role as she supports me she supports my family, she supports the dreams, but also that I support her and I build her up and I encourage her. And mutually we lift each other up. And so with this driving goal of pushing our family and pushing it specifically towards Christ and having a household like that, but also that we're encouraging and building each other up in such a mutually exclusive way that it is impossible for us to miss out on the fact that each other is succeeding in that. And so, for example, I mean, my wife, she's a nurse. She is amazing at her job. I work with somebody whose life she saved and brags about it all the time. She's just amazing. And I grew up with nurses, so I just the second she told me she was going to be a nurse, you just have that sixth sense. It's like, oh, you're going to be great. And then there's those other people who tell you they're going to be a nurse, and you're like, how close you going to be to a needle? And I knew right then and there. And so anytime my wife is like, hey, I think I might want to go back to school for nursing. I think I might want to do this. I'm all about it. I'm encouraging her 100% of the way. Because I know that there is nothing. And listen, I'll brag about it on my podcast. This woman makes way more money than me. And there is nothing wrong with that. But I love this woman. And love and respect being tied together, that means, man, I'm going to support her and I'm going to encourage her.
Absolutely.
And, man, if you are not in your relationship, just stop. I don't see any point to that one. Like, that's going to kill it. Yeah. So, yeah. Let's wrap this thing up. Put a bow on it. You ready? Last couple topics. Did you have anything else to say?
As long as you want.
Oh, as long as I want.
Yeah.
I don't know how long we're in right now. I feel like we've been going for a minute. Oh, it's not bad. Okay,
good.
so bad. Really? Only that? Never mind that. I mean, it's about average for us, but so do you have any advice? Let's do this. Mm-hmm. For young men, and I think we kind of talked about this just a little bit, but if you had anything else, I would love to hear it. Advice to young men who are looking for a girlfriend / pursuing a wife.
Wow. I certainly do. Don't look for something temporary. And what I mean by that is, when it comes to dating, you're not, and I say this all the time, you're not in a 30-day trial. It's not, it's not one of those things that you're just gonna, experience, get whatever you want out of it, because I don't want to call it a relationship, because something like that isn't.
It's not.
It's not. So, you don't just go in there, get what you want, and then get out. That's not how it works, because now you're basically setting yourself up for failure, because that potential gold that's out there for you, it'll be so much harder for you to reach that if you keep looking at, women with this idea that they're temporary pleasures. These are people who are meaningful pursuits. That's who women are. And, I promise you, you can find a really good one, but you have to be willing to put in 100%.
And two things from what you said. Mm-hmm. Meaningful pursuit. And that word pursuit, I love that word pursuit, because it doesn't just indicate you're looking for something, you're kind of looking over there, you're searching, you're kind of like, Pursuit means you know what you're after, you are on its trail, and nothing will stop you from being off its trail.
Absolutely.
And in pursuit of a meaningful relationship, that just... and then the other thing you said, and I will try to refocus my thoughts. My baby is talking mad at me. Nope, I think I lost it. Dang, it was good too. That was it. It was, you were talking about the 30-day free trial. You can get in, get what you want, get out. I mean, listen, if we can use just a real analogy, that's pretty sure that's called theft.
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's theft.
Yeah.
We get in, we get what we want, and we leave.
Yep.
It's self-satisfying thievery. And I mean, look at it how you want, man, but I mean, if we look at that in real talk in the sense of a relationship, it's the same thing.
That's right.
I mean, you are stealing something from someone. I mean, real talk. We could dive deeper into that one. That's a whole.
I'm down for it.
I mean, I am too. But man, listen, let's just record like 1 million minisodes. Listen, I mean, I have written sermon series on how to talk to teenagers about that, and I feel like we could just go just briefly. I mean, let me. When you get in, get out, get what you want, you are stealing from the person who that person is meant to be. And there is none of this, well, it could work out. If you are getting in, getting out, getting what you want, that's it. That's theft.
Right.
And the person who that person is meant to be with, who has been set apart for that person, you just stole from them.
Deep.
I love that analogy, though.
Thank you.
Oh, my goodness. I'm going to use that. Holy cow. February is coming up, ladies and gentlemen. Teenagers of the world, you better watch out. I'm going to find a youth group.
Part 2, man.
Part 2.
Get another part 2 on Monday.
Yeah, another part 2. Okay. What do you think, next question, what do you think every father should teach their daughter? Hit me with it.
This is going to sound like a one that's constantly said.
One.
But.
Hit me.
Never settle for less.
Ooh!
Because.
Why?
Really, when you think about it, every woman is a gift. You know, they're all gifts. You know, they shouldn't have to put up with less. You know, I am a believer in the idea that women do run the world. They rule the world. They're all queens.
Let's just be honest.
Yeah. And, you know, they shouldn't have to settle for less.
No.
You know, they really shouldn't have to.
And you can be a great guy, too. And I think we need to hit on this just really quickly, too. Mm-hmm. You can be a great guy. You can treat her amazing. She can say yes. You can get married. And it doesn't mean it stops.
That's right.
It doesn't mean it stops.
That's right.
You can be deep into the relationship. You can not have proposed. You could be thinking about it. You could be a great man who's never thought about cheating. And it doesn't stop. Never stop. As a guy, never stop. Because then what we start doing is we start becoming what we agreed that she shouldn't settle for.
That's right.
I mean, if that just seems, it seems like, you know, and I'm guilty of it, man. I've been married for 5 years. I have so many moments where I look at a situation and I should have been like, man, I could have really excelled at this. Man, I could have really like knocked this out of the park. And I was lazy and I settled in the moment and I said, man, my wife deserves more than that. And we do that as guys. It is totally possible. So listen, never settle. And as a guy, don't stop.
Back to that question with, you know, the fathers and what they should teach their daughters. I often, you know, I think about that myself because, you know, I have plenty of friends who are fathers and, you know, some are absolutely amazing and then there are others who can always do better. And, you know, I really believe that fathers should set the example as well. Because it's one thing to say, you know, sweetie, don't settle for less. You're a queen and you deserve more and I want to see you happy. You can always say that, but if you're not acting
show it
on, you know, those words, those thoughts and those feelings, then what is that?
It's empty. It's lip service.
Exactly.
Listen, I just want to say, like, since the day I found out I was having a daughter, and I just want to share this with everybody because I'm so stoked still about this. I am so stoked because I tend to be, and my wife can interject or not. She's not in the room right now, so I'll wait for her to interject. She can probably still hear me. She has amazing hearing. But Nope. I was waiting for her to go, just what? And I tend to be a hopeless romantic. Like, that's just my personality. She hated it when we first started dating. It was great. And she actually dumped me once. We dumped each other. I can't say that. We dumped each other. Man, that's a story, too. Minisode number 3. But I'm a hopeless romantic by nature, and I cannot wait until my daughter is old enough to understand like what's going on and to be up and walking and talking and communicating, because I am taking her on so many daddy-daughter dates.
Absolutely.
All the daddy-daughter dates. We're going to go to like freaking, I don't know what we actually have around here that's designed for kids.
The park?
The park? Yeah, that's it. So we're going to go to Lakeland, and we're going to go to like Cold Stones, and we're going to go to movies, and I'm going to like buy her flowers. It's going to be so great because I, as the dad, get to show her what is acceptable.
Absolutely. And that's exactly where it starts too.
Yeah.
At a young age, you know, when you start, and I'm not a father, but you know, looking from it, you know.
Talk to you in a few years.
Yeah. Maybe, who knows? But looking at it, you know, from that way, you know, it all starts at a young age.
Yeah.
You know?
And listen, I don't think I've ever heard somebody say, man, I wish my dad didn't care as much as he did. Maybe in a teenage rebellious moment, like I've definitely heard that, but I don't think anybody in their adult years has ever heard or has ever said, man, I just hated that my dad loved me so much. I don't think I've heard that. I mean, I could be wrong. Chime in, DM us appropriately. There's my cute baby in a bear towel. Congratulations. Aww. As the guest, that's your gift.
That's wow.
But yeah, so we definitely need to wrap this up because I think we're coming into an hour territory again. And I gave that gift to Lauren. I promised I wouldn't do it that many times, but man, this is great stuff. And this is stuff that I think affects culture. This affects change. Absolutely. This affects how my daughter is going to be raised and the culture that she's going to be raised in.
Absolutely. And even by then, it's going to change.
And even by then, I mean, culture moves so quick. Exactly. She knows. This girl already knows how to work an iPhone. I, like, had it on the ground, and she's like, oh, she's already... Oh, my goodness. I didn't do that, Connor. I love you. I'm so sorry. We got rid of the arm because I wouldn't bump it. She loves it. Actually, I'm pretty sure she's trying to claw her way out of the towel right now, and she's naked. She's a naked baby. Anyway, but yeah, this affects culture. This affects how my daughter's gonna be raised. And yeah, what I was saying was, she had an iPhone the other day, and she was literally trying to swipe up on my iPhone. I'm like, stop it, stop.
Swipe right.
No, not swipe right. No. We're not doing that. Never ever. No. So okay, we've talked about this. We've talked about your love life, my love life. How we respect women, how we respect females. How do we as men change the culture? For those of you who have no idea, which should be everybody, it doesn't matter if you're on YouTube or not, have no idea why I'm laughing.
No, you can hear it.
My wife, I bet you could. My wife is carrying our daughter, who is currently naked because she just got out of a bath. And she was carrying her over her shoulder when, like a bazooka, she let out a man fart. She is smiling. She's happy about it. She's my kid. I don't know. Okay, so real talk, last question. Here we go. Ready, set. How do we, as guys, as men, change the culture around us?
We have to do better than our parents did for us. Now, it doesn't matter if you had the world's worst parents or the world's best parents, but it's important for us to do better either way.
Yeah.
Because we're the change now. You know, we're the next ones up.
Yeah.
And it's important for us to, you know, just be better. And when we have our kids, no matter how great we are to them, no matter what we teach them or, you know, how beautifully we make life for them.
Yeah.
they have to do better than we did.
Mm.
And over time, that's the only way that we can really create change, is just generationally create the change.
I love it. I love that. That's beautiful. Mm. Yeah, and we can't be complacent.
Absolutely.
I compare this a lot of the times to Christian culture and our church culture, how a lot of the times what we do is we sit back in our pews and we wait for people to come to us.
Right.
Right? We can't do that. We have to actually engage people. And you're not going to get great reactions at first. You know, hey, you should definitely stop being a butthead to that girl. And it's not always going to come out great. I'm going to tell you right now. But if we as men are sitting back and allowing boys to call themselves men, then we're not doing our job.
That's right.
And I fully 100% think that. If my boy Connor over here was being a butthead to his girl, and I just sat back and I said, yeah, you know, it's your relationship. It's fine. It's whatever you want. That's not being a man. And I want to say that. Do not meddle in relationships. I don't approve of meddling. But correctively and lovingly calling out your boy, totally different. Lovingly is the word. Lovingly, truthfully call out your boy. And if you and your boy got the relationship where you're going to slap him upside the head and be like, you're being stupid, that's fine. Slap him upside the head and say you're being stupid. I think we have that relationship. Yeah.
That's
A
a
lot
true
of people-
testament of friendship, man.
It really is, if you can.
Need that.
Yeah, honestly. Let's just be real. I mean, I have had a lot of friendships where I've had to slap your boy. And I've had actually guys who have slapped me. It's a thing. It happens. And it's good for you, honestly. Because I think at every point in a young man's life, we have many points where we need to be slapped.
Absolutely.
And I think that's how we change culture. Did you say preach? All right. Apparently we're doing good. And that was the Papa Bear podcast. Yeah, that was it. That was really long. Was that really long? Hour 4, not bad. I think we did an hour 6 for Lauren, so let's try to go an hour 7. Last thing, we have a gift for you.
Really?
We do!
Ooh.
You didn't think we did?
No.
We almost didn't because I forgot to tell my wife about it. We guessed on your size.
Uh-huh.
I'm hoping we did good. And I'm hoping...
You say we. You guess something.
I guessed on it. I guessed on your size. What's your shirt size?
My shirt size is a medium. But but a large is okay too, because larges shrink
Yes.
depending on the material.
Throw it in the dryer, dog.
Absolutely.
It's pretty strong.
It is. Either way. Either way.
All right, so yeah, we have a gift. We have a gift for you. I want to make sure that I hold this right side up. What?
That is awesome. That is awesome.
That's a baseball. That's new merch right there. That's
Oh
baseball
my gosh.
Bro, listen, my wife knocked it out of the park.
People are
Did
gonna
that
be
baseball pun.
You designed this? That is beautiful.
Yeah, dude, that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
People
So
are gonna be
here-
tired of me wearing it. They're gonna be like, dude, didn't you wear that like
Yesterday.
every day?
I washed
So
it.
here's your gift.
Thank you
Here's
so
your gift.
much.
I'm so glad you like that.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
That's fire, dude. Not even
And
lying.
it will
Baseball
fit.
team.
It will fit.
Listen, my wife totally did all of that because I was like, hey, why don't we just get him like a long sleeve? Be fine.
Perfect.
And then she was like, at Michael's?
Yeah.
At Michael's, and she's like, oh, I found raglan tees. I'm like, I don't know what a raglan tee is. I don't know. She's like, a baseball tee. I'm like, oh. And she's like, well, I have these colors and this colors. I'm like, well, what about this and this? No, that is not going to look good. And so I'm like, oh, well, what do you think looks good? And she's like, I got you. And that's how our relationship works. Because I try to come up with what looks good, and she lovingly and correctively says, you did your best. You should see, before, when our daughter was like 3 months old, like 4 months old, and I would bring her to church, and I would have her dressed, I would be like, man, this looks so cute. She's looking bomb. And she would intentionally pack clothes with her to work just to change Aaliyah because she knew. She knew what she was going to look like when she got to church. And I love her for that. Didn't in the moment.
There's striped sweatpants. With a moose. or
Deer. They were
whatever
deer. They were cute. They would have been cute.
Or boy.
Anyway. So, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Listen, our producer, Connor,
Doesn't have a shirt.
doesn't have
I'm just kidding.
who doesn't have a shirt, is with also, if you know, is with the Daily Dose of Heavy. He was so mad when I told him I got you first.
Yeah.
But stay tuned this week as well, and stay tuned to the Daily Dose of Heavy because we will see you again on the Daily Dose of Heavy. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Love it.
It's Lindon week.
It's Lindon week because you were so awesome.
I love it.
And here's your baby for the night. She's wearing donuts. And that, ladies and gentlemen, would you like to do the sign off?
Ooh.
You haven't seen an episode.
No.
Calls you out. Just kidding. Loving and truthfully.
There you go.
Bring him to the back of your head. Anyway, do you want to do the sign off? I'll teach you.
Okay.
Okay.
How do you
So to do the sign off. Oh, we're at 1999. Oh no, we're at 2000. To do the sign off, you just say, "This has been the Papa Bear Podcast, the Papa Bear Podcast." If you're telling your friends about it. Good night. You got that?
I have a simple mind when it comes to this. Like, this is the Papa Bear Podcast. The Papa Bear Podcast, if you tell your friends. Good night.
Good night.